On May 15th, a routine hearing at the Supreme Court of India was underway. Nobody expected that the proceedings inside this building would accidentally trigger a massive digital revolt outside of it. Chief Justice Surya Kant lost his temper. In open court, he stated that unemployed youth who can't find jobs turn into social media activists, attack the system, and act like cockroaches. The highest judicial office in the country had just equated protesting citizens with pests. To understand why that specific insult hit so hard, look at this chart tracking youth unemployment against academic corruption. Over the last 7 years, there have been at least 60 major exam paper leaks, including the massive NEET scandal. Millions of students are studying for a system that is rigged against them from the start. And when those students try to protest this reality, the state's response is swift. They are met with batons, threatened with police cases, labeled as anti-nationals, and silenced through new digital censorship laws. You have an economy failing to provide jobs. You have a state crushing dissent. And finally, you have the judiciary openly mocking the victims. This combination created a massive political vacuum, leaving millions of young Indians completely orphaned by the system they live in. Enter Abhijit Dipke, a former political strategist currently based in the US. Watching this unfold, he posted a satirical thought online. What if the cockroaches actually united? The response was immediate. Within hours, a joke crystallized into a dedicated digital entity, the Cockroach Janta Party. This bar chart compares the Instagram follower counts. Notice how the ruling BJP sits around 8 million followers. In just 4 days, the newly minted Cockroach Janta Party shattered that number, surging past 15 million followers and completely eclipsing the digital footprint of the national government. When 15 million people pledge allegiance to a faceless satire account overnight, it signals a collapse in political trust. Young voters are abandoning traditional institutions for a digital joke because they no longer see a future in the real system. The rapid ascent of a fake digital party is a profound humiliation for India's legacy opposition. Millions of Gen Z voters are boiling with anger, yet established parties have entirely failed to harness that energy or offer a credible alternative. Even the supposed youth icons within newer alternative parties fell short. They capitalized on the movement initially, asked a few questions in Parliament, and then quietly faded into the background, leaving their young followers feeling abandoned. The failure of representation extends to those working strictly within the law. When universally respected advocates try to play by the rules, peacefully protesting for basic rights in places like Ladakh, they are arrested without cause and labeled as foreign agents. The system repeatedly proves that playing nice does not work. Every traditional safety valve designed to relieve public pressure, elections, opposition leaders, and peaceful protests, is currently perceived as broken or compromised. In a landscape devoid of real options, a digital void filler like the Cockroach Janta Party was inevitable. The architects of this movement are engaging in what you could call a digital satyagraha. They operate as a decentralized, leaderless network. Much like the recent protests in Iran, there is no single head to cut off. If a central account goes down, regional chapters immediately spin up to take its place. Look past the meme aesthetic, and you'll find a highly specific, aggressive political manifesto in this infographic. They demand a strict ban on post-retirement seats for chief justices and anti-terror charges if the Election Commission deletes legitimate voters. Their most pressing demand targets the education crisis. Because exams clearly leaked, they demand the immediate resignation of the education minister to establish accountability. Furthermore, they explicitly reject the opaque funding models of traditional politics. They aren't asking for more closed-door funds. They are demanding repeated, written proof of exactly where taxpayer money is going. You combine that decentralized survival architecture with highly specific, uncompromised demands, and you get an entity that is far more potent than any centralized opposition party currently sitting in Parliament. The system responded with a rapid sequence of digital blocks. Within days, official orders were sent to Twitter to suspend the party's handles, as the state moved to scrub the movement's existence from the internet. To do this legally, the government weaponizes broad IT laws, citing national security and public order to justify deleting a satirical account. They treat a digital joke as a direct threat to the state. History provides a very clear warning for this exact behavior. When a government aggressively seals off digital venting mechanisms, the pressure inside the system does not simply disappear. Eventually, it explodes into physical, uncontainable street uprisings. We just saw this happen in Sri Lanka, where public frustration boiled over and physically dismantled the ruling government. We also saw it in Bangladesh, where years of ignored youth frustration and severe internet crackdowns resulted in a violent overthrow of the state. The state certainly possesses the power to delete an account. They can crush a single cockroach. But by eliminating all peaceful avenues of dissent and refusing to listen, they are actively guaranteeing a future swarm they cannot control.